Brett asks a great question. Did you hear that they want background checks on 3D printers?
Oh, God, here we go again.
New York proposes background check for 3D printers. Latest crackdown effort on ghost guns. Dun, dun, dun. Now, a few of us read through that law the other night when it was posted. The scary thing is, the way they wrote that, they're proposing to introduce a background check. The way they wrote it, it says on computers, on 3D printers, and devices capable of making a physical product from a three-dimensional model, right? So, I mean, obviously that first part, computer. So every computer now, you're going to have to do a background check on. I mean, I would argue there's a lot of phones. Most phones could run a 3D printer, I'm sure. I mean, I've messed around with one enough to know once the files are on there, man, you control it from your phone. It's crazy. So we know that they want to get as much control over us as they possibly can. That's been demonstrated time and time again. And this says that the bill, sponsored by, I'm not going to butcher their name, but there's a congressperson here in New York, it would require would-be buyers of 3D printers to undergo a criminal history background check. And if the check reveals anything that would prevent a buyer from legally possessing a gun, the sale would be barred. Let's see here. So they also want to make it a misdemeanor to share the blueprints needed to 3D print such items. So they're literally getting into thought crimes where they're trying to ban information from being shared. These are scary things. No matter how you feel about firearms, these are scary, scary things that your government is trying to introduce. There are Manhattan district attorneys that are pressuring our legislatives to pass these laws. And as any of you know, I mean, how long has the art of machining been around? I mean, John Browning, as crude as his equipment was, look what he was able to produce in the 1800s. If he's not a machinist, I don't know who was. So for well over 200, 300, 400 years, if you have tools, I mean, are they going to ban a file, like a file, a hand file? Because that's all John Browning needed to make the Ma Deuce. I mean, he didn't have a CNC machine. He didn't have the fancy things that we have today, sure. But at some point, I mean, when are you going to draw the line of trying to ban things to solve societal issues? I mean, it didn't work. We tried it with alcohol. Did that fix our societal ills that were, we plagued by alcohol? No, it didn't work then. These aren't going to work now. Thank you, Brett. You pasted the law there. And what was the question up here? Yeah, Derek, I think the bill is still floating around in committee for a tax per round of ammunition. I mean, think of all the laws that we have. The New York State assault weapons ban, the SAFE Act, the concealed carry, I hate even calling it by its name, the Concealed Carry Improvement Act, right? There's all these bills and laws that we have, and they just have not worked. They've demonstrably not worked. And they just keep doubling down every year. Let's try it. It's kind of like that theory of adding one more lane to the highway. You get these 8, 10 lane super highways. It's like, just one more lane, bro. It'll solve the traffic problem. Well, that's not how it works, unfortunately. Another crucial quote. This is from Forbes. This is an article that came out a couple days ago, I think. This article came out today. Technology has made it possible for anyone with a few $100s to create dangerous weapons and firearms in the comfort of their own home. Take that same argument about this piece of technology right here. Technology has made it possible for anyone with a few $100s to create dangerous thoughts and criticize their government from the comfort of their own home. Again, absolutely ridiculous. I think any kind of legislation that's banning tools and equipment that are used literally every day by tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people to build all sorts of things across the country. And not only that, you have a fundamental right to self-defense. You have a natural right to self-defense as a human, and they're trying to take that away from you. Another limit. Now you have to buy one from a store. You cannot make your own firearm in New York anymore without getting an FFL involved, a manufacturer involved who can take care of you, put a serial number on it, do a background check on you, all that jazz. So they've pretty much commercialized the right to self-defense, which, I'm standing up here, obviously, as a capitalist. I own a small business. I should be, like Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful, right? I should be up here applauding that. Like, oh, the government has made this racket where you have to come to me to take care of your rights. I should be happy about that. I'm obviously quite furious about it. I like helping you. I like, knowing that, say, Glock or Shadow Systems or any of these companies, they make a better product than I could make in my garage, or probably you could make. Maybe not. Some of you are pretty talented. But regardless, I think it's absolutely crazy that the government sees people that have less money and less opportunities. They want to get a 3D printer so that maybe they can help defend themselves from things that are going on in this country that the government can't help them from, and the government wants to stop them. Absolutely ridiculous. Let me know what you think. Brett makes a great point there in the comments. 3D printing a gun, it's not like you can just get a file, put it in there. Even if you could, honestly, you should be able to. There are still laws on the books that are saying, they're like, it's still illegal to murder people, and most people still have a moral compass, no matter how easy it is to access these items. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that they want to ban the files. That's really what's gotten me upset, is reading in that article that they're proposing to ban and make it a misdemeanor to share information. That's scary. That should scare you. And yeah, getting them to print properly is very difficult. It's not as easy. It's the same thing. I mean, you can't just go buy a Bridgeport and think you're putting Glocks out on the other side of it. I mean, could you do that? Sure. But that takes a little bit of skill. Same with the 3D printer. Same with anything. But my point still stands. Even if it was, Star Trek universe, you got a replicator, you just boop, 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 push a button, and there it is. That should be your right. I firmly agree that there should be a right.